Judge, may we approach?
Yeah. Hi, Casey.
Hey, how you doing?
Too.
I do have a plea for you today on Mr. Bryant.
You say Mr. Bryant?
Yes, Jason Bryant.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Bryant. Oh,
So it is actually not a second.
Your Honor, if I may, it's not a second because our investigator reached out to the county and found that the records were expunged. So,
it's still,
Your Honor, under the code, you can't use expunged records for purpose of enhancement. And we reached out to appellate to confirm that as well as other people, as well as from the AG's office, and they've all.
so what happened? Did it get dismissed?
So
Expunged?
it's a conviction that was
You still
expunged.
enhance it to a second?
We can't use
Not
the
with an
expunged records,
expunction.
Your Honor.
Technically, they shouldn't even know about it.
Yes, that's the issue. So for that reason is why we put a reduction to a first.
So
Yes.
we could refile it as a first, but we're not allowed, like per our appellate division, we can't use it for enhancement purposes, like to upcharge to a second.
Here's the thing. You've already had one that's dismissed. You now pick up another one, right? You know, when do we say when? When do the proverbial slaps on the wrist stop? You know, how old are you now?
41.
You're 41. When do we get it? You know, do you watch the news? How many times a day do people die in Harris County because of the DWI?
Every day, all the time.
Every freaking day, every single day. And the problem here is that what I have found when we go too low on punishment with repeat offenders, I have found that they wrap their car around the pole the next week. And that's why I have an extremely hard time of taking another proverbial slap on the wrist if you've even had one dismissed. Because who's to say you've learned anything? Tell me about the facts, will you, please?
Yes, Judge. So the facts were the officers were dispatched to a major crash call, and a witness stated he arrived at the accident, observed the defendant sitting in the driver's seat of the vehicle with the engine still on, and saw the defendant get out of the vehicle and sit by a tree. The officers observed the defendant to be sitting under the tree near the vehicle and was.
Did you say there was an accident?
It was a single car
It was a single
accident,
accident.
Judge.
He had hit a tree, and then he was being treated by HFD upon the arrival of the officers. And the defendant's vehicle had right bumper damage and windshield down and the glove box open from the accident. And that's when the officers found
Two guns.
a loaded handgun on the sidewalk and another single 9mm near the vehicle. And then the officers then observed bloodshot, watery eyes, slurred speech, and a strong odor of alcohol coming from the defendant. And the defendant was unable to walk due to the injuries from the accident. The defendant admitted to driving, crashing the vehicle, and owning the firearm. He also admitted to consuming the alcohol. And that's when the defendant was transported to Memorial Hermann by ambulance and was unable to perform SFSTs due to the hospital visit. And a blood draw was performed.
What was the blood?
It came back at 0.153.
Did you guys enhance it to a 15 above?
No, Your Honor, we did not.
How did they even charge it as a second when you're telling me that it's been expunged?
Originally, it was charged using the expunged records because they only ran an NCIC, and for some reason it came up on NCIC when it shouldn't have. That's the issue.
Forever, for the rest of your life, you now see, even if it's expunged, people still see it. Doesn't matter. You know, in the future, going forward, what do you think is going to happen if you get pulled over and an officer looks at your record? Right. From now on, you're looking at a minimum of 30 days in jail. I'm going to tell you now, Mr. Bryant, I don't want to take this. I don't think it's fair. You know, I don't on any seconds because, you know, there has to be consequence for behavior and it's not fair. This is the last time you will get a proverbial slap on the wrist. I want you to understand that. Anytime you get pulled over, they're going to see all this. You will get taken down. All you have to do is push a button on your freaking phone. $30 to $40 on an Uber will take you anywhere you need to go. Do you understand how much money have you paid them to represent you? How much money have you paid to represent on the first freaking DWI? And now you're back. I'm going to tell you, if you act like a child, I'm going to treat you like a child, and I'm going to put you over my knee, and I'm going to spank you like a little child. You come back here, but I'm going to do it with a ton of jail time. Do you understand?
Sir.
You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal once you accept this agreement. You can never change this or undo this. Do you understand? How to plead to the offense of driving while intoxicated. I will find you guilty. I will send you to 3 days in jail. I'll give you credit for 1. I'm going to suspend your license for a year. Do not drive until you get a license. I am also now going to hit you with this DPS surcharge that you will be required to pay. That is a $3,000 surcharge you're going to be required to pay. You will also be required to pay the court costs, which are around $400 to $500. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to get it one way or the other, because if you don't, every $100 that you owe, you will be sitting 1 day in jail. So you can imagine on a $35,000 to $4,000 bill right now that you're going to get, how much you will sit in jail.
Sir.
I want you to understand that we will not tolerate DWIs in Harris County, and we're going to get blood one way or the other. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
It's just not fair when it's so easy to find another way. You know, I like to drink. I like to drink a lot. I love my mules, really, really spicy. And I love to go out with my wife. How do you think I do it though? Right. And then I can just be towed, you know, but that's the responsible thing to do. And I hope that you really get it from now on, because God forbid you do something that you really can't walk away from. Do you understand?
Sir.
All right. Good luck. Thank you.